Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Style Esports Season 9 playoffs. My name is Chris Crewman Newman. Joining me on the caster desk will be K9, and we have a very fun match planned for you all this evening. Tonight's action features the Piltover Division Winners Bracket semifinal between the Madison Munsters and Team That Pressure 2.0. It's going to be a little bit of a journey down to the land of low elo here. I certainly do expect to earn my keep this evening. But K9, let's hear from you. What do you expect from these two squads tonight?
Yeah, I mean, you did mention it. We're a little bit in the lower brackets, lower elo brackets. So one of the key things about these lower brackets is comfort. Comfort is king down here. You know, meta doesn't matter nearly as much as putting your players on things that they are good at and things that they're comfortable on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the draft phase is absolutely going to be a big deciding factor here tonight. We'll have to see how things shake out. We are into that champion select already. A couple of champions going to be hitting the bench here. Tristana and Wukong banned away so far.
Yeah, so really just targeting out the others' champion pools. I do know the AD carrier for that pressure, which is tied at 22, does play a lot of Tristana. And I do know that Ike is a big fan of Set, so both of those off the table. Meanwhile, Madison is going to go ahead and take out the Wukong for Sky Wizzy 24.
Yep, absolutely right there, K9. Looks like it's going to be Ezreal removed as well. So top lane and ADC are the two bans that we've been focusing on so far. Have to see if that trend continues as we round out this first round of bans. Wouldn't be too surprised to see that focus continue. That's a very common strategy in Champ Select, right? It's to try to focus out one player on the opposing team. But it looks like it's going to be the Diana here. A little bit of a flex pick. Definitely an interesting choice here from that pressure.
Yeah, Vish 184, very big Diana player, so definitely targeted towards him, less than that guy Jinx. So more than likely going to be targeting towards Vish 184. But we're going to see Madison Esports final ban, which is going to be the LeBlanc, so a target towards Whiskey Havoc.
Yeah, absolutely. And we know Whiskey Havoc, he is a little bit of a LeBlanc player, to be sure. As one of his more common, more often played. He does have quite a few games on the Anivia there, so could go towards that if he's still looking for some kind of comfort. But it's going to be the Kai'Sa locked away first here for the side of that pressure, going into the hands of Gray down there in the bottom lane.
Yeah, so gonna just pick up a strong AD carry. Surprised we didn't see Misfortune. I do know that Tide 22, or not Tide, Grazio does like Misfortune, and it would actually kind of hurt Tide 22 because he's also a big Misfortune player, but Kai'Sa is going to be picked up, and you're going to respond with the Ashe, so another very strong pick. Ashe has been seeing a lot of meta recently with all the changes towards preseason and the AD carry items. So Ashe is starting to come back into to the meta, and so we're seeing her picked up a little bit more, and so nice to see Tide 22 very comfortable on this champion, and also a little bit in the meta as well too.
Oh, that's very interesting here, K9. You did mention there that Misfortune is easily Tide's most played, or at least it was last season, but he is opting into the Ashe instead here. It may be a meta-based decision, like you were saying there. I must confess here, K9, I have not been following the meta super closely since preseason started here. So if you do know what's going on, that's going to be extremely helpful.
Yeah, Ashe just been seeing a lot of play recently. The slows and some of the items and just changes towards champions. Ashe is kind of one of those staple picks where she can be played in almost any meta. The engage supports, the safe support, or engage AD carries, you know, with the Jhin. Kind of the safer go back and poke, and more of the hyper carries. She's always been seeing picks, but the picks are going to be Vex Nautilus, so very, very aggro bot lane with the Kai'Sa Nautilus. A lot of engage, a lot of kill pressure towards this rather immobile AD carry. And Madison has the Lissandra, so a little bit of a safer mid lane. Has a lot of CC, a lot of safety. So we'll see how that matchup goes. I think it's slightly Vex favored. Vex able to roam around the map a little bit easier and able to get a little bit of poke towards Lissandra, but it's going to be Janna, Ashe, bot lane, so it's going to be a lot of pressure on Nautilus and on Camilla Tears to be able to shut down this Ashe Janna before they're really able to hit that mid game and late game potential where the Janna can just really stop any sort of engages that pressure can really drop out.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some very interesting team compositions getting drafted here so far here at K9. On the side of that pressure, the Kai'Sa Nautilus, as you already mentioned, such a powerful duo down there in that bottom lane. When you pair it alongside the Vex as well, there's a lot of engage potential there, a lot of potential for long range attacks on isolated targets. And on the other side here for Madison Esports, the Lissandra are going to be going into the mid lane against the Vex there for Vish. I am very curious to see how that matchup goes. I do expect it to be a little bit Vex favored, like you were just saying there, K9. But there's a lot of zone control for Madison already, right? They have the slows from the Ashe and the Janna, and then Lissandra has all of that crowd control as well. I am a little bit concerned that they might be lacking some damage here. I do hope we see some carries locked in on either the top or the jungle position here for Madison here in this first game.
Yeah, definitely a little bit less damage than you'd like to see, and that pressure sees that and are going to respond with Kayn and Graves, two junglers that have definitely been seeing a lot of play in this preseason. Kayn got some buffs, some of the item changes really helped him, and Graves has just been a solid staple for a while now. So both of those off the table, both very, very damage-heavy junglers. So Madison Esports a little bit tightened down on the jungle pool, especially considering how low damage they are currently.
Absolutely. What would they go for here? It's going to be the Darius. So a blind pick Darius for Ike up there in the top side. We know he wants to play something tanky, something a little bit like a bruiser. So I don't mind locking him in here. You know, it's kind of hard to like really hard counter Darius. I mean, you could go for something really weird, like I don't even know. What even counters Darius?
Well, up in the early game, it's a little hard, but they're going to go with the Jax. They're going to play for the later game. Going to try and just play safe during the laning phase, scale up, and be able to out split push Darius towards the mid lane series.
Yeah, the Jax are going for a little bit of an outscaling angle potentially on the side of that pressure, but you do have to be very careful in those early levels. If Darius is able to catch Jax without his cooldowns, then Jax is not going to have a good time. But the Hecarim is going to be locked in here for that pressure, so they are really going to be putting it on here. More engage coming through. The Hecarim just going to do even more to enable the Kai'Sa and the Vex here to be diving into that back line. Last pick of the draft now for Madison. The Olaf for Jinx. So more frontline, but I don't know if frontline is really what they needed here, K9.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to have to see. Olaf going to need to get ahead in this early game. Going to need to start getting those early leads and early kills. Otherwise, he's just going to kind of fall off as this game progresses. He's not going to be as tanky as some other bruisers, because when he ults, it does shred his armor and magic resist.
That's right.
To prevent the CC. And with Hecarim and Nautilus and Vex and the Kai'Sa, there's just so much dive potential that Janna and Ashe have to worry about. Lissandra obviously can ulti herself to give her a little bit of time to, you know, stall off the damage, but you know, Ashe and Janna really don't have a lot of escape tools other than their sums and Janna ultimate. So we're gonna have to see Hecarim can get the charge into the backline or a good ulti flank that enables the Kai'Sa and the Vex to really get onto those squishy carries in the back.
Yeah, and when we think about times where Olaf is good, right? Times where we like to see Olaf picked, it's when he has a lot of champions on his team that are able to support him, right? Champions that are able to heal him, shield him, speed him up, you know, give him more attack damage. Janna can do a little bit of that. She gives him a little bit of a shield, a little bit of AD there maybe. And he does have the assistance of all of that crowd control coming out from the Ashe and the Lissandra as well to try and set things up. But you are absolutely right here, I think, K9. They are going to need to make that work very early on into the game here. If you give Jax and Hecarim just even a little bit of time to scale into this composition, I feel like they're just going to get pretty unkillable here.
Yeah, definitely. We're going to have to see. Olaf really needs to get ahead, especially, I would say, the biggest lane to get ahead would most likely be the Lissandra. It's going to be very easy setups for him with the Lissandra into the Vex. Vex very immobile in those earlier levels before she has her R to kind of reposition in fights. So most likely going to be seeing him towards the mid lane to get himself ahead and to get Lissandra ahead. And if Lissandra can get ahead, she can be a little scary, not allowing the Kai'Sa to dive into the backline for fear of the ultimate.
Yeah, that is true. If he's able to put out a lot of pressure, control those zones, and hold on to his important cooldowns to try and dissuade the dive from coming through. If that pressure never goes for the engage, then Madison Esports could just find the perfect opportunity, find a good team fight, set up their wombo combo. Darius, starts cutting people's heads off. Could look pretty good for him.
Yeah, for sure. Main lane's gonna be one need to watch is definitely this Kai'Sa Nautilus versus the Ashe Janna as well. If Ashe and Janna, get repeatedly hooked by the Nautilus, or Hecarim comes down and pressures them, can really get zoned off a lot of CS and potentially lose and die and give up some of those early Drakes. And currently in the meta, those early Drakes can be very strong, especially if you get both, putting you very close to Soul Point, and you can even get a very early Soul, which could be very game-changing.
Yeah, and that could be another potential win condition for Madison, right? Olaf is a champion who's very, very strong at taking those neutral objectives early on into the game. And with a bot lane like Ashe Janna, assuming, of course, that you do not get hooked by the Nautilus, they should have a decent amount of pressure down there. They should have push, and they should be able to enable Jinx, that guy Jinx, to get in there and take those early dragons. But, we got to come back here to Camellia Tears. The Nautilus, it's his most played champion. He's got that very, very strong pairing with the Kai'Sa. I've just got a feeling like they're going to have something to say about that bot lane.
Yeah, definitely. It's a lot of pressure onto a Wild Goat to be able to dodge those hooks and be able to put out enough pressure for the Ashe to be able to safely farm. So we're going to have to see how he positions and make sure he's avoiding those hooks, because one hook could spell disaster for this bot lane.
It certainly could. But let's talk a little bit more about the mid lane, actually, K9, if you don't mind. I'm not sure how familiar exactly you are with Vex or with this matchup in general, but I still have not encountered the champion too much. I sort of know generally what the abilities do. I know that Vex scales pretty insanely well. But could you give us elaborate a little bit more on your thoughts on the mid lane matchup there?
Yeah, I think this is a little bit Vex favored. I think she does have a little bit higher range than the Lissandra. If Lissandra ever looks to go for the W into the Vex, Vex can always just pop her W, the shield, the personal space. And I think Vex just has a little bit more damage, and when she hits that level 6 spike, she has a little bit more kill pressure with the ultimate and can roam a little bit easier with that ultimate as well.
Okay, but you were also saying that mid lane is a good lane to play around for Olaf because of the setup that can come through from that Lissandra. So if Vex is left to her own devices, then we should expect her to be pulling ahead here. But we'll see what lanes he decides to prioritize in the early game, where he's able to find success. He does have setup in all three, potentially. The Olaf could look for something pretty much anywhere he would like to.
Yeah.
So it should be very interesting to see what he decides to go for here.
Yeah, a lot of pressure on that guy Jinx on the Olaf to get ahead. Again, very, very hard pick. Olaf, well, rather simple mechanically. The problem comes from his pathing and the ability to get early leads and then maintain that lead. Olaf, one of those champions that falls off pretty hard towards the mid and late game if you don't get ahead. So a lot of pressure onto getting these early leads and getting his lanes ahead so that they can transition into the mid and late game with a lead and be able to take out this win.
Yeah, absolutely. Assuming the Olaf isn't turbo fed, it is a champion that requires a lot of coordination with your team, right? You have to choose your moment very carefully. When you pop that Ragnarok, you need to know that you are going to be able to chase somebody down and win that fight. So it is going to be really exciting to watch here. Maybe we can find some stats for Jinx on the Olaf really quickly before we get into the game here. Let me see what I can do. Last season, we have not played very much Olaf here, guys. This is not a champion that Jinx is super familiar with. It's not even in his top 10 for last season. So yeah, gonna be interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Again, comfort is king, so if he's not comfortable in this champion, things could look a little rough as well. I do believe Whiskey Lion does actually play quite a bit of Hecarim it is one of his most played champions. So, just the experience of the matchup and the experience of knowing how the champion works could actually come and bite that guy Jinx in the back this game.
We shall see. We shall see. Whiskey Lion on the Hecarim could look pretty good. I definitely think we have to give the scaling advantage over to the side of Vet Pressure. They have the Jax, they have the Hecarim, they have the Vex as well. Do you agree?
Yes, I would definitely say scaling game will have to go over towards that pressure. The Jax definitely is going to be outscaling. The Vex definitely can outscale. Kai'Sa, I would also say, depending on the build they go, definitely will outscale the Ashe as well. So we'll have to see when we get into the game. But I will say, if this game goes late, 40 minutes, I would say that pressure definitely has the edge over Madison Esports.
Well, K9, we may be getting a little ahead of ourselves. We still have to play the early game first. Let's pivot back towards that direction. Do you expect to see a level 1 here from the side of Madison, given that they do need to find that early advantage?
Considering their actual comp, they really don't have that strong of a level 1. Darius, his Q can be strong, and if he is able to get the big resets and get 5 stacks, can be dangerous, but it requires a lot of setup. Olaf, very strong level 1, much stronger than Hecarim. But Camille Tears on this Nautilus. Nautilus, very, very strong level 1, has so much CC due to the passive and his hook. And Kai'Sa having the passive as well with the resets, or not the resets, but the percent health damage can be very scary. So I don't know if they really want to walk into a level 1 versus that pressure.
Okay. Yeah, well, it's an interesting question, right? It's a very, very important match. Remember, everybody, stakes are very high tonight. This is the winner's bracket semifinal. So the winner of tonight's best of 3, I believe it's still a best of 3, right? Or are we playing 5?
I believe it is a best of 3 still.
I think it's 3 still until the grand final.
Yes.
So whoever wins tonight's best of 3 will punch that ticket. They will find themselves in that grand final sometime next week. So, that's the thing about level 1s is they can snowball the game very heavily. And if you're not sure, if you don't want to take that chance in this high pressure situation, then maybe they will play it a little bit more conservatively. But we are almost done waiting out the spectator delay, guys. We won't have to wait too much longer to find out. Don't go anywhere. Game 1 starting soon. Welcome back, everybody. We are on to Summoner's Rift for game one of tonight's match. We can see that pressure. They're moving in here. They're going for a little bit of an invade. Camellia Tears looking for that dredge line. Not going to find it. Sider sees it coming, backs away just in time.
Yeah, but they
Probably
are
going
going
to
to get some deep wards, though, which is actually really nice for scouting out that Jinx. Going to put pressure onto this Olaf so that he can't get ahead, which was one of our talking points in the draft where Olaf really needed to get ahead early, and they're going to be able to scout out his pathing very early on, which is going to be huge.
Yeah, absolutely. They are going to get that deep ward down behind the blue buff pit there. So they're not going to get the actual timer on the blue buff, but they will see Olaf walking through the jungle there. If he does start bottom side, which it looks like he will. Meanwhile, Whiskey Lion, he's going to start up here on blue buff. So it looks like a deliberate choice here from the That Pressure jungler to start on the opposite side of the map from his opponent.
Yeah, and one thing to note is Whiskey Lion going to opt for a leashless start, so they're not going to actually know where where the Hack Room's going to start. Tears and Gray Zero looking for a cheese, but not going to find it, as Tighter 22 and a Wild Goat are just going to keep it safe.
Oh, you say that, but Nautilus is walking up, and he's still got the hook, but he is going to miss it. Wild Goat should be able to walk this one out. It does take a lot of damage, a lot of auto attacks. Kaisa able to stack up that plasma. Jan already down to 50%. The Nautilus Kaisa lane already looking pretty threatening down here, K9.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Nautilus didn't even land the hook or an auto, so just a lot of damage up.
He's got it back off cooldown now. I think Wild Goat is just going to sacrifice himself. He's getting rooted, he's ignited, and he's just gone. Gets absolutely obliterated. Just way too far up there. Not respecting Camellia Tears on the Nautilus. Just gets taken out.
Yeah, definitely little far forward there. Got caught out, not in the minion wave, and then a good flash and a good hook from Camellia Tears secures the first blood for Kaisa. So feels very nice for that bot lane.
Yeah, absolutely. They're going to be able to crash this wave now as well. Going to get a very nice, comfortable early reset here for the Kaisa if he wants it.
Yeah, should.
Squizzy now jumping in with a leap strike. Going to get pulled in now. Whiskey does land the fear, but not too much more going to happen in mid lane.
Yep. Ooh.
Top laners look like they're going for something here. Jax is letting Darius stack up the passive here. Squizzy going to burn the flash and get himself away from that one. He kind of opted into that and ends up costing him a summoner spell.
Yeah, I mean, just not respecting that Darius passive. Very strong in these early levels. Gives a lot of damage in the bleed also. So, Squizzy probably going to have to burn a TP here to not fall too far behind, because there's a huge wave crashing right now.
He was already down basically a full wave of CS, so he really did have to burn the TP to get back up there and collect that golden experience. Meanwhile, mid lane, Whiskey is continuing to pressure here. He's not winning too hard just yet, but he seems to have decent control here over the minion wave. Gonna land some more CC, but Lissandra is able to get herself away there with the frozen path.
Oh, but they're looking for
this
Olaf.
Olaf gonna find Hecarim in the jungle. Whiskey Lion gonna charge him in there towards the rest of the Hecarim's team. Now Olaf is gonna land some axes onto Whiskey Havoc, force a flash over the wall here. Now a flash forward from Lissandra, gonna lock up Camellia Tears, and he gets taken down. Supports traded back now 1-for-1 overall. So far this game, as the side of Madison gets kill back.
Yeah, and that's the strength of that Olaf. Thought they were caught out, but the healing and just the raw damage output was too much for them to deal with. Good flash and root from Lissandra, able to pick up that kill. But top lane, Whiskey.
Yeah, that's a leap strike. Is going to stun up Ike Mike. He's popped the ghost now. Darius is trying to find his way out of here. He's getting charged back, though. Nice E from Whiskey Lion. The devastating charge secures the kill. Squizzy's going to be able to grab that last hit. Great gank from Whiskey Lion.
Yeah, really good gank. Notice that the Darius was a little far forward.
Dredge line connects. Janet's gonna get locked up here, and one more auto attack. Almost dead, barely hangs on there. Now Camellia maybe in a little bit of trouble, but Olaf can't chase too far. You don't want to chase under tower there. As chugging the potions here, that pressure bot lane gonna try and regain some HP and maintain their presence in the lane here. As Squizzy once again going in with the leap strike, not gonna be able to find the stun this time though, as he can't quite get that wave all the way in. Dragon is alive here, K9. Nobody's making a move towards it just yet. As the bot lane was very much that pressure favored until Olaf came down just now. It kind of helps turn it around a little bit.
Yeah, definitely helping out a little bit. Keeps the Jenna alive. Good shield. Gave her just enough to survive. I think she was down to like around 10, 20 HP. So almost another kill going into the pocket of Grade 0 on this Kaisa. But looks like that Ashe and Olaf are going to reset. Olaf should be looking to head towards his bot side. The buff is spawning and Crab is going to be coming up now. I want to see him look for this dragon. He can do it pretty early due to the sustain that he gets from his W and his passive. So I'd like to see him look to try and sneak an early Drake away from them, but Control Ward in the Dragon Pit means it's not going to be snuck this time.
Not just yet, anyway. So that vision will prevent the Olaf from doing anything too sneaky. He is moving down towards the river now. He looks like he, at the very least, wants to try and contest for this Scuttle Crab. Will he spot out that pink ward in the pit? No, it looks like he's just moving back into the jungle here. And the that pressure vision on the objective will remain for now. As level 6 for the Darius, Jack's got to be a little bit careful up here. But as that wave crashes, the Grandmaster should be able to tick over to that level 6 mark as well.
Yep, definitely. Darius level 6, very dangerous when he can stack up those passive hits onto the Jax. Does a lot of damage. Can very, very quickly turn that lane around right now, especially considering he's up about 2 waves.
Yeah, definitely. There is the level 6 for Jax. Squizzy looks like he wants to look for something now. He does have the ult. He's popped it already. He's getting a lot of damage down. I might get some trouble here. Doesn't have flash. Gets a little bit of healing from the Decimate. He's trying to walk it out here, but the leap strike is back off cooldown, and Squizzy finds himself a solo kill in top lane.
Yeah, really well played by Squizzy. Darius, little over.
This flashed over the wall. Camellia Tears with the sweeper lens finds that guy Jinx on the other side of the wall. They're able to take him out before he even knows what's going on. Wild Goat and Tider now, they're just stuck underneath their tower, and it's going to be the first neutral going over to that pressure as well.
Yeah, and I like this. Good pick onto the jungler, then turn straight to the dragon. No way that the side of Madison can really even contest this, so this is just going to be a free dragon into the pockets of that pressure. And second dragon going to be this Cloud, so nice pickup. We might be able to see one of the new dragons, either Chemtech or Hextech this game, so very excited. Haven't really seen one of the new rifts yet, on stream at least.
That is true. I do believe, as long as we're still on the same patch, if I recall correctly, they actually increased the probability for Hextech and Chemtech souls, just so people go, okay, Dredgeline connecting. That's going to be another kill. Camellia Tears sets it up and knocks it down. He alley-ooped himself there on the Nautilus, able to get another one for the team here.
Yeah, really nice hook, threaded it through those minions very well. Janna, again, we've seen this time and time again, standing a little too far forward. That's the second time, third time that's happened. So, 2 kills now for the bot lane.
There's the Ghost getting popped. Mike's going to look for the all-in here. Jax does have flash, though. Going for the Noxie and Guillotine, and he is going to get the Decimate. Squizzy never burned flash. He just never flashed.
Yeah, I guess the thought that Darius didn't have enough damage, but the ulti comes down and the bleed goes through and picks up that kill for the Darius.
Yeah, I mean, well played by Ike, I guess, but definitely a misplay from Squizzy to just not use the summoner spell there. Yeah, I guess he was just thinking that Darius didn't have the damage, but come on, man, it's Darius. As that is going to be a fear coming down, and that's the ultimate coming in. Vish forced to use the Frozen Tomb there defensively. Whiskey doesn't quite have enough damage to finish the job, or does he? Vish is hanging around here. Vish has some teammates in the area. He's going to go back in with the Glacial Path, but he just gets executed. The Vex damage is there. If you fly right into her face like that, Vish just kind of gives over one for free. His team was not in a position to follow up on that. And Whiskey gets his first kill of the game.
Yeah, really good rotation from that pressure, sending the bot lane up towards mid and top because of this Rift Herald currently up. There's no objectives down bot lane. Go ahead and send the Jax bot. His TP is going to be up soon, and send them top lane for this objective. So they're going to be able to grab another neutral in this Rift Herald and be able to get a lot of gold with these plates that are still up.
Yeah, absolutely. Not many plates in any lane by either team have been taken yet. We see one has been knocked off in that top lane there by Jax, who is now in bot lane, of course, as the bottom lane for that pressure, as you already mentioned, rotated up to secure that Rift Herald. So We'll see where they decide to drop that one. It is, of course, in Whiskey's back pocket for now. He's hanging out on top. Oh, what's this?
Good
Grave.
flash.
Maybe in some trouble here. Forced to flash away. The fear does come down, though. Vish maybe in some trouble now as well. Underneath the tower now, that guy Jinx trying to get this kill onto the Vex. He's going to be able to find it. The last tower shot will take it out. He's not going to be able to escape here, so that's going to be traded back. And it's a 2-for-1 in favor of that pressure. It was the side of Madison trying to make the play, but it's the side of Madison going down 3-1. That pressure extending their gold lead. They're sitting on about 3.5K now here, K9.
Yeah, and one of the things, Madison Esports really needed to get ahead early. This Olaf really needed to put in work. Currently down about 20 CS, and yeah, you know, he has 2 kills, but
Lost
the rest
both
of his lanes
neutrals.
are really far behind. Hasn't gotten these neutrals, and yeah, looks like it's just going to be even more gold in the pocket of this Hecarim.
It's pretty funny here that Whiskey is just deciding to drop Herald solo top lane. Just like, you know what I need? I need a couple of tower plates right now. It's like, all right, Whiskey, you do you. He will be able to pick those up. No problem. And the Hecarim is now 320 gold richer, as Squizzy is doing a much better job, as we can see, of respecting the Darius at this point.
Yep.
He is getting a little bit of damage in.
Ooh, good dodge.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely is respecting the Darius. That guy Link's down here as well. Gonna try and look for something, but
That's a fear coming down. A wild goat is more like wild roadkill. He is popping the Jan ultimate. He's trying to keep himself alive. Oh, he's dead. He is dead, as that is the Vex going in. The Whiskey Havoc taking a couple of tower shots here. That tower was very much warmed up and ready to go, and he took a lot of damage out, but he's not done. A couple more auto attacks. He's got to be really careful here. Tidar could easily get that kill, and they will back away in time as the teleport does come down. He did get the additional summoner spell there out of Mike, so another very strong play coming out from pressure here up on that top side.
yeah, Mike a little bit late on the TP. Might have been able to save Jan or even convert it into a kill or not, but you know, a little late. Basically just keeps Tide 22 alive. I don't know if he had it up for that.
Oh, Squizzy jumping in, but he's finding himself in a 1v2 now. The Janna should be able to help Darius or Olaf win this one. Excuse me, as no, Olaf is too weak. It's only a level 7 Olaf, and he just gets whacked over the side of the head by the lamppost as Squizzy picks up number 3. Nautilus and Kaisa now ganging up on Asher on the top side, and Goat just feeds over another one. It's kills all across the map. Looks like this one is all done but the singing here, K9.
Yeah, I mean, already up about 5k gold. Dragon spawn as well. Whiskey Line should look towards this. Jax is down here as well. Grease 0 should look to maybe get first turret here. Might even get it before the plates fall. And we're going to see what Rift we get. Possibly Hextech or Chemtech. Maybe just one of the standards.
Like Chemtech so will just be rubbing salt in the wound at this point. It's going to be Ocean. That's not a whole lot better.
Yeah.
At least for the side of Madison, it's not a whole lot better. For the side of that pressure, I'm sure they're feeling pretty great about it.
Oh, definitely. I mean, does a lot. Ocean Soul is so much healing packed into the top.
Okay, got the devastating charge in here. Mike finding himself in a 1v3. He's popping the ghost. He's getting himself out of there, and the dredge line will connect onto a minion, so the Darius will escape.
Yeah, but with this Ocean Soul, it's going to be so much healing for this Hecarim. He already has the Divine Sunder, his W healing as well. Jax has Conquer. It's going to be even more healing. It's just, there's going to be so much healing for the side.
Oh, Vish has the path, and he's out of there. Whew, close one.
Almost gets tagged up there, but able to just make it out. But this is going to be so much healing for that Pressure 2.0. And currently there's no form of anti-healing. There's no Executioners, there's no Oblivion Orbs, there's no Brambles. And as this game progresses, there's just going to get more and more healing. And I really want to see some sort of anti-healing picked up by, you know, one member relatively soon before this healing becomes just too much of a problem.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you were saying, Hecarim has it in the kit. You know, Jax is building for it, and if they are going to get that Ocean Soul, then yeah, that amount of healing will just get really, really overwhelming, as that is a fear down onto Mike, and oh my god. I mean, I know he was at 50% HP, but still, come on.
And that's one of the powers of Vex. You land your shadow, and then you just pop everything, and usually someone dies. That was the
Yeah,
Darius.
well,
I would
they
hate to see
certainly
what
did that
happened.
time.
I would hate to see what happens to the luck or the Janna or the Ashe.
Yeah.
It'd probably be even faster.
Oh yes, I'm sure it would. As we were, I think, maybe looking for a play for a second there in mid lane, but we decided against it. That guy Jinx, I think, decided to just sort of play it a little bit slower for now. He's trying to farm up where he can, as that is going to be the depth charge, going to knock Wild Goat into the air, and the ISO damage is way too much for the Janna to handle as he does get taken out. Whiskey Lion flies in there for the assist in the mid lane, and they're going to be able to take out the Ashe as well. Mid lane tier 1 going down. Olaf is coming up for an attempted collapse, but they're still in a 2v3. I don't think they actually win this, as the Kaisa is getting out a lot of damage here. Jinx is diving into that back line. He's trying to take out that AD carry. He is actually almost able to do it, but he is not going to be so lucky, as the Darius, I think, actually Noxie and guillotined the wrong person. I think he Noxie and guillotined somebody who didn't have the passive fully stacked on them.
I think so.
I didn't see, but you think so too? Yeah, I think maybe a little bit of a misplay from Ike there. Almost able to get one kill back. Actually, both of them, Link, Jinx, and Mike, were pretty close there, but neither one able to finish the job. And look at those side lanes.
Had to flash away from the Olaf. While a little behind, still does a lot of damage. Still very scary at this moment, but Sky Wizzy very far forward looking for this tier 2. Ike doesn't have the ghost.
He's got a leap strike. He's out of there.
Ashe Arrow gonna go wide.
That's on its way to
I think
Bermuda.
he gets out of this.
And he's gone. Yeah, and Whiskey Havoc's going to pick up this turret down here in bot lane. And now Vish used his path, and that means he's probably dead now. That is the Vex element coming out. And that's the flash used too late. Oh, but the last ability didn't connect there. Whiskey almost able to pick himself up the solo kill. He is able to at least get out flash ult from the Lissandra. But, yeah.
Yeah, does burn the flash and ulti. So 2 big cooldowns there burned, not gonna be up for a while. Can't flash away or flash ulti anyone or herself for the time being. But does get the bot turret, so that's gonna be more gold. Up to 10k gold lead now with Dragon spawning at 50. And it really feels like that pressure is just starting to run away with it. They do have the scaling advantage because of that Jax, because of the Hecarim and the Vex. They really do just scale a lot better, and I mean, they're just all of the outers are down right now. They're up 2 dragons, about to be on Soul Point. Madison Esports really needs to look for some sort of big play or some way back into this game. Maybe some of these objective bounties that are out currently, because they're just
we
falling
do have
farther and farther behind on a comp that gets outscaled.
I absolutely, completely agree with you there, K9. That is an interesting point that you bring up there with the objective bounties. You know, they were, of course, introduced to the game in the preseason here for season 2022, as that is a dead Janna. Yeah, Janna, you're just not really allowed to leave the base anymore, or you get one shot. So that's on you, I guess.
I mean, yeah, you're not allowed to walk into the river or do anything really. TP from Sky Wizard to try and save this top tower, prevent those objective bounties. Really like that. So no extra gold as well. So they just get the dragon, get a kill, and are able to get out without any sort of repercussions. And it really feels like that pressure 2.0 is kind of choking out Madison Esports, not giving them any way to come back into this game.
Absolutely. You know, usually when a team is really far behind like this, okay, there's a little bit of a fight breaking out here. Squizzy is going to find himself in a 1v2. He is going to get the Darius passive stacked up on him. There's the Noxie and guillotine coming out already. He's burning down. He's bleeding. Squizzy going to get queued once again with the Decimate, and he's going to get shut down. Kill credit. Going over to Ike. Mike able to get one back here. Whiskey Lion, though, he is going to find a Janna, who is once again not in her base for some reason, and she is now going to be once again dead. As Vex is going to be flying into the mid lane, and yeah, Ashe, you don't get to either. I actually don't think Whiskey even needed to burn the flash there. He probably could have just walked it out, but regardless, it is a couple of more kills picked up by the Whiskey brothers here on the side of that pressure. And Ike Mike, he's looking for a tier 1 here up in the top lane, but he's about to lose a couple of inhibitors as Lissandra gets feared up once again. Dredge line misses by a millimeter, as that tier 2 in the mid lane will get walloped by Shelly. And she's about to get off that second charge here onto the inhibitor tower. Doesn't look like the side of Madison is going to be able to stop her. They're going for the eye. They can't find it in time. She does get the charge there. And that tier 1 top side was collected, but both of those inhibitor turrets took a big old beating here on the side of Madison.
Yeah, already very low. Almost done. One more solid push from that pressure 2.0 should be able to break open this base. And with Baron spawning, you have a really good comp to take it. The Kaisa very quick at taking Baron. Hecarim very good. Jax also as well. They can really shred this Baron very quickly, so they better keep a lot of vision
sure.
towards this top side, because Baron can get really just melted, especially with the Kraken Slayer on this Kaisa.
So usually at this point in the game, when we're looking at a situation like this where one team is extremely far behind, I like to ask, my color co-caster, what ways they think that the losing team might be able to find back into the game here. But I won't do that to you today, K9. I like you too much. I won't ask you a tough question like that. So let's do a little bit of a variation on it. As we head into the second game here, as Ash and Janna are dead again, as we head into the second game here, what do you think is something in Champion Select that the Squizzy actually is in some trouble? He's getting very, very low. He's going to get taken out once again here by the Darius. That's a flash in, and the Dredge line is good from Camellia Tears here, forcing out that Lissandra ultimate. Vish in some trouble. He's going to get hit by the death charge here as well, and the ISO damage from Ray will secure the kill. Aftershock be damned. Actually, doesn't even have Aftershock. He has Common. But still, that is going to be a kill underneath the Nexus towers for that pressure, making it 23-5.
Oh,
11k gold lead. Yeah, the Darius and the Olaf are on the chase, but they're not chasing very quickly, and they will not be able to catch anybody. Yeah, did you get my question?
Yeah, so big things to change for next game. Definitely want to see a different jungler, for sure. I think Darius was fine. I think he just fell behind early from a good gank by Whiskey Lion. Obviously...
Let's put another quick pause on it here. There is vision in the pit from Madison briefly. They did get the blue orb in there. Here comes the pink orb. They're not going to be able to contest for this one. The Enchant Crystal Hero comes out, but it's too late. Baron is secured by the side of that pressure, and it looks like they're just going to be going for the reset here into most likely a game-ending push. Sorry to cut you off there, K9. Please continue.
No, you're good. Looking in the next game, different jungler. I feel like that guy Jinx, a little uncomfortable on this Olaf. A lot of pressure on him to get ahead early. I like to see something that scales a little bit better, especially considering the team a little bit lacking on damage. I'm fine with Tidecolor on this Ashe. I think he's played a lot of games of it, so he's comfortable. It feels like a Wild Goat isn't comfortable on this Janna. I know he's a big Seraphine player, and he left base.
There he goes.
So
Death number 10
yes.
for Wild Goat this game.
I think he's underestimating the potential of this Kaisa damage and this Nautilus, the hooks. He was very far forward and kind of just disrespected them a little bit.
Oh, Olaf, what are you doing over here, buddy?
Ghost
what are you doing, Olaf? He's trying to escape. He's running, and now he's dying. Whiskey Lion picks up number 4. 4-0-3 on the Hecarim. Definitely a little bit of a jungle diff this game here, K9.
Yeah, I will say though, 9-0-7 on the Kaisa as well.
True. Yeah, and Camellia Tears on the Nautilus. We can't be
a lot of setup
disrespecting him either.
A lot of setup got the Kaisa the lead to be able to get this fed and be such a monster in this game. There's gonna be Ocean Soul.
Absolutely.
This game should be just about over. 13k gold, 2 inhibitors down, Baron for about another minute as well.
I mean, realistically, I think it was over about 10 minutes ago, but yes, I agree.
Yeah, game over screen just hasn't popped up yet.
Right.
But definitely would want to see different jungler for that guy Lynx. And I'd like to see... I feel like they got behind very hard early, but if they weren't this far behind, or even a little bit closer to being even, I would like to see Tider 22 look for more of these engage ultimates. It feels like his ultimates have been more reactive rather than proactive. I'd like to see some more proactive Ashe ults, very powerful utility, can hit someone, can burst them down very quickly,
Okay, I think we're gonna have the fight breaking out here. Olaf popping the Ragnarok. We're diving into the back line. Janna has blown up at the beginning of the fight because, of course, she is. Now Darius is going down underneath the tower as well. Got Jinx. He's trying to go back in there, trying to get a little bit of damage out. He's retreating in time to stay alive, but it's still 2-0. That pressure continuing the push here. They've got Lissandra down to 50% and diving in. Now Olaf gets taken out. Lissandra popping the Frozen Tomb, but she will not last much longer. Neither will the tower, and neither will the Nexus, as Ashe is trying to clear out these supers from the Nexus turrets, but it's not going to matter here, K9, as game one is not close. It will go decidedly in favor of that pressure, and Madison Munster needs to pull a rabbit out of a hat to find a prayer in this series.
Yeah, definitely. Just really one-sided. Everything went the side of that pressure. All of the kills, all of the dragons, everything really just went their side, and they're just patting the stats at this point. Not gonna able to get the last kill into Shadow 22. But first game is gonna go over to that pressure in the series, and very dominant fashion as well.
Yeah, it doesn't get much more dominant than that.
Yeah, so really very much just a one-sided game. I, there's gonna have to be some big changes in draft for game number 2, because it really
Yeah.
felt that they drafted this early game comp and it never got off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It really didn't. Bot lane went so in favor of that pressure. Chameleon Tears able to land a bunch of hooks, able to get Gray Zero so far ahead to be able to pop off 1407 on the Kaisa, 14k gold in 26 minutes. He was almost full items, and Ashe had 1.5.
Jeez. Yeah, that's pretty wild.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like a Wild Goat wasn't comfortable on this Janna at all. I feel like he was playing very far forward, disrespected Familiar Tears on this Nautilus and Grey Zero on the Kaisa. I feel like he really did disrespect them and the power that they can bring out. So I'd like to see him on either a different character, like maybe someone more tanky, such as Leona, who can play aggressive because has the HP and the stats to be that aggressive, compared to the Janna, who, if you get hooked, you have a shield and then you die.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think it's fair to say that we can see ways where the composition that was drafted by Madison Munster here for game one can work. But even from the champion select phase, I think we were pretty quick to identify that it's just a composition that's much harder to execute than what the side of that pressure had for this first game. I mean, just compositionally speaking, it seemed like that pressure had a little bit of a counter to what Madison was trying to do there. They just had the winning lanes, they had the scaling, and they just got that early advantage, and then they just choked Madison out of the game. There was nothing the early game comp could do.
Yeah, that pressure, much more easy to execute comp. You go in with the Nautilus, you go in with the Hecarim, you go in with the Vex. Kaisa follows up on that. If you need to, Jax can split push, but it's just a dive in kind of comp. Madison Esports, they had an Ashe Arrow, which is good. They had Lissandra to try and pick someone off as well. You had Darius in the sideline, who eventually would lose out to Jax. If that pressure dove in, you have Janna to disengage, but you have so much dive that if Janna's your only disengage, they can really just not care about that ulti to disengage. And then you have Olaf, who wants them to engage into him, but being so far behind it didn't really matter.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely here. So as we are going into this second game, we've already talked a little bit about different support picks for Goat, maybe a different jungle champion for Jinx. Who do you think Jinx should be on this game? You said you wanted him on somebody that is a little bit more of a carry threat as we move towards the later stages, right?
Yes, definitely someone a little bit more carry focused. I think Kindred could have been very good that game. Does have to disengage with the ultimate, allowing them to stay alive after they engage, and can become this 80 carry that can be very problematic. It has a lot of mobility with the W and with the dash, has a lot of damage, and can be very hard to lock down.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely excited to see what kind of adaptations Madison is going to bring to the table here for our second game tonight. Of course, if the side of that pressure is able to take game number two, then they will win the best of three in that clean 2-0 sweep that just go ahead and be on their way to the finals. But I hope that the side of Madison Munster has something to say about it. I'd like to see a spicy series tonight here. So we will be getting into that second game pretty shortly. Do you think we should go to a little bit of a break here, K9?
Yeah, I think we can go to a little bit of a break here. So.
Alrighty. Well, don't go anywhere, guys. Before too long, we will be getting that second champion select underway. We'll see you soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are almost ready to get into that second champion select here. Just to bring you guys back a little bit early to ease you into it, K9, as we warm up here, get ready to get back onto the Rift for our second game here. What do you think are the chances that the side of Madison is able to turn this one around? That was quite the beating that they just took. Are you at all concerned for their mental state?
A little bit. I mean, after a loss like that, it feels like sometimes it can be insurmountable. They lost on almost every front that game, and it can either feel you can take it one of two ways. One, you can take it that they're better in every sense, in which case it feels really bad. Another way is you can say that they got lucky early, and at least it was quick, so that we can prepare more for this next game rather than having to draw out a 30-minute game they feel like is over.
The tactical fast loss.
Yes.
Definitely a viable
Yes.
strategy in those best of series.
Looks like we're having a little bit of issues with draft, but I do want to see some change in draft for Madison Esports. It is the same sides, so that pressure is opting for the blue side again. So not going to be changing that around, but I do want to see some changes in draft. Take out some of those picks, maybe change up, especially the bot lane a while ago. Didn't really perform like we had wanted him to. Kind of died a lot more than we'd like to at least. So maybe putting him on a champion that he's much more comfortable on could be very good for him.
Yeah, definitely. So we are having some technical difficulties with the champion sledge guys. We're probably gonna have to make a new link here and just kind of still working on getting that up and running. But yeah, I mean it's definitely a tall order when you go down, that severely in that first game.
Yeah, can feel a little daunting, but hopefully their mental not too broken. Hopefully we're good for game number 2, and it looks like we're getting into draft now. So this is going to be Madison on the red side. And
that's right. That is so it's actually winner has side selection. Is that how it works here?
I'm
You
not.
said that pressure selected blue side again.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I think it might swap out after each game. Not based on winner, but that pressure is on blue and Madison Esports is on red.
Yeah.
Bans are going to be Tristana first, so no changes from that pressure. Gonna go ahead and continue to ban the Tristana from Madison Esports.
I gotta say here, K9, I would really, really love to see the side of Madison ban the Nautilus. Yeah, I know you were talking about maybe if Wild Goat is on something else, then maybe he wouldn't feed the Nautilus so hard, but I honestly feel like the better solution is to just ban Nautilus, and then you can have Goat play whatever.
First ban is going to be Nautilus. That is just a little bit of a problem. That is going to be Nautilus ban first. So for the side of Madison Esports, going ahead and getting rid of that Nautilus.
Wait, where do you...
It's in chat.
They said Wukong in chat is what it looks like to me.
Yeah, my bad. Wukong's banned. Not Nautilus. I don't know. Wukong, Kaisa, bans for Madison. My bad.
No worries, no worries.
But,
it's okay. I baited you.
Yeah.
I just said Nautilus ban. You're like, oh, obviously, yeah. You're so right, crewman. Obviously,
yes.
They're gonna ban Nautilus.
Obviously that misban is Nautilus.
Reading the chat, yeah. But no, it is actually the Wukong. They don't want Squizzy to get his hands on the Ninja Monkey, and they are also going to ban away the LeBlanc once again from Whiskey Havoc. So Nautilus still available, Hecarim still available. Vex still available. Pretty much everything that pressure used last game to put that beating on the Madison behinds is still available here if they want to just go straight back to it.
Yep. Gonna go ahead. One thing that isn't available is gonna be this Kaisa. Was problematic, but they're gonna opt for an early Sejuani, so not nearly as much damage, but a lot more CC for Whiskey Lion.
Yeah, definitely the case here. Whiskey Lion going for the Sejuani this game. I don't know if I love that as a first pick. It doesn't really... It's not like a priority pick. It's not really that meta. Is it contested? Does Jinx play it? Let me see.
Ooh, big changes coming out for Madison. Gonna go ahead and take the Jax away from that pressure, and are gonna go ahead and pick up an early Graves. So Jax probably going to be going into that top lane, can be flexed into the jungle. Graves is a 3-way flex for jungle, top, and mid still. Most likely is going to be going into the jungle though, as that is where the player of that guy Jinx does prefer it. But very different comps from both sides. Sejuani and Shen, very, very tanky already for that pressure. And Leona, so... We've got a big front line.
That's all they have so far is front line. It's nothing but front line for that pressure so far. Very, very interesting. Saving both of their carry picks for the second part of the Champ Selects phase here. We have most likely top jungle locked in right now for Madison. See what they decide to go for to round out this first phase of picks. They will likely choose a bot laner to try and keep some of this flex potential alive. It's going to be the Alistar for Goat.
Yeah, really like the Alistar into Leona. Leona E, the Zenith Blade, when it does land on Ali, he can knock her up and headbutt her away. So can be a little bit Alistar favorite in this matchup. Leona goes in, drops everything. Alistar can just ulti the stun away, get the bonus percent or 50% damage reduction, and Leona just kind of used all of her stuff on Alistar. So I really like the Alistar into Leona. I do believe it is Alistar favorite because of if Leona goes in, Alistar can really just get her away from his AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, there are some considerations to be had there in terms of timing. You know, there is a certain threshold there. You know, you have to be able to mechanically make that happen in order for that counter to work. So we are going to be watching Goat down here in the bot lane. He is going to need to have a better performance this game on the cow to try and make that lane a little bit more favored towards his team. And it looks like it's going to be a couple of mid lane bans here from the side of Madison, focusing on Whiskey Havoc. We're going to take away a couple of his more common options, his favored blind picks there. And Lissandra going to be removed from Vish, so he is not going to be able to pilot that one again. And Misfortune also taken off the table by that pressure.
Most likely going to be seeing an AD carry out for Madison and saving that counter pick for the mid lane. And yep, that is going to be the Caitlyn. So Arcane buff Caitlyn coming out. Very solid, very safe laner. Has a lot of range, a lot of matchups she does very good into. So we're going to go ahead and see what that pressure is feeling like. Going to be showing their hand with the mid and AD carry.
What do you pair up with the Leona here?
There's a lot of good.
So much front line. You
need
have
so much front
right?
You need damage. You need a lot of damage.
That's
There's a lot of damage.
Let's go. I could see that working really well actually for Gray. He had a great game last game. What was he? Like 14 and
14-0.
Jesus.
Never died.
Popped the frick off last game on the Kai'Sa, and he has got the 200 years champ now. So I am definitely going to be keeping my eyes on this bot lane.
Yeah.
See if we got a repeat of that story from our game number 1.
And I don't know if that Ivern is intended. I don't think it is.
Ooh,
Ivern is supposed to be Lux. So.
Okay, it's not an Ivern.
It's not an Ivern.
There is no Ivern.
And there's no Sejuani mid this game. AP Sejuani mid.
God.
No, not this game. So it is going to be the Lux in that mid lane. So, what do you pick into this Lux? What does Madison Esports feel like they want to play into Lux?
I mean, you have decent frontline already with the Alistar Jax, the Veigar.
I actually like that. Okay, Veigar is Malzahar. I was gonna say I really like the Veigar. It prevents the Sejuani, it prevents the Leona, it stops the Shen. It stops all of them because they have dashes. He has so much zone control, scales very well, can do really well with the Alistar and the Jax and the Caitlyn. You drop a cage on someone, Alistar could just headbutt them into it. Caitlyn can throw traps around in it. Graves W can blind anyone in it. His AoE can hit all of them. Jack stun hits everyone in the cage. But it's going to be that Malzahar instead. So a little bit safer. Has much more lockdown on single target with the ulti.
Sorry you don't get to see the Veigar there, K9, but now that we do see the comps all fully fleshed out here, and the Malzahar going into the mid lane there against the Lux of Whiskey Havoc, let's get your thoughts here before we head into the second game. Do you think one of these teams has a distinct advantage coming out of our second champion select?
I will say, Madison definitely did listen and changed up their draft. They have a lot more damage. They have the Jax. They have the Graves. They have a Caitlyn. They have a Malzahar. They have much more damage than they had last game. That being said, there's a lot more frontline for that pressure this game with the Sejuani and the Shen and the Leona and Lux Shields. So
Yeah.
very, very different drafts from both sides this game.
It's an interesting question. I definitely think the side of Madison Munsters, they changed up a lot in a very good way. Like you were just saying, their champion select in that first game was very all in on getting ahead early. They had like Olaf, Darius, and they just got rolled over by 10 minutes and the game was over. But this game, they're matched the scaling. They matched Luxaphelios with Jax Vagar. So both teams have scaling. They have the Caitlyn for tighter in the bot lane. It's going to be a lane bully. They have Goat on something much tankier that's not going to get one shot as easily. I think the composition from Munster here is just worlds better than what they had in that first game. So I expect the second one to be a little bit of a slugfest here, K9. I think we're going to be in for a treat here for game 2.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of frontline for that pressure, so team fights are going to be lasting quite a while.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to get through the Shen, you're going to have to get through the Sejuani, you're going to have to burn through the Lux Shields, you're going to have to burn through this Leona.
And it's all going to be front to back, right? If you look at the carries for both teams, Aphelios, Lux, Vagar, Caitlyn, like all of these champions are front to back. So positioning, going to be really, really important. Vision control, setup, all of these things are going to matter a lot more than they did in game number 1.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very much. A lot of pressure on Tide and Vish on properly positioning. Caitlyn has a lot of range, but is very squishy and has little to no escape without her summoner spells. So, you know, one Glacial Prison, a good Solar Flare onto Caitlyn, and she can be wiped off the map very quickly, and that's a lot of damage for Madison. And the only real other damage threat is going to be the Graves. Malzahar able to do a little bit of damage, but is more towards that mid-gamey kind of get picks, get the silences, have the malefic visions on people. Whereas the game progresses, his damage drops off a little bit. People get QSS or able to cleanse his ultimate, and it's going to be a little bit rough.
I kept saying Vagar, but it's Malzahar. Excuse me,
Yes.
guys. But Malzahar also does scale pretty well, so my point still stands.
Yes.
But yeah, what?
Gonna see if that pressure pays the Malzahar tax. Go ahead and just buy the QSS. It's 1,300. It'll save your life multiple times. Just pay the QSS tax, please.
I mean, not very many of them need it, really. I mean, Aphelios, I think, is really the only one where I feel like you got to pay the tax. I mean, if Malzahar is using the Nether Grasp on Leona or Sejuani or Shen, like, probably
that's
already
fine.
lost the fight.
Yeah.
Like,
Gray Zero and Lux. The big Lux in the early game, you know, around level 6 to 9, probably gonna want to have that QSS to stop any form of ulti ganks from Graves and the Malzahar, possibly Alistar roaming up. But really, it's gonna be Aphelios getting that QSS because Lux has the range. Her Q, her light binding, her ultimate, very, very long-ranged abilities. Aphelios has to get a little bit closer where it can be a little dangerous for him because Malzahar can, if he has the flash, can flash ulti him. So definitely want to see him pick up QSS, especially around the mid-game.
yeah, I could definitely see that. I think that would make a lot of sense for Gray here. One thing I will point out, one thing about the composition drafted by that pressure that I will favor here. I do like what Madison have a lot better this game, but that pressure, they do still have a better engage. They have the Leona and the Sejuani and the Shen versus pretty much just Alistar. All of that pressure is going to be mostly on Goat to find those engages. You know, Vish, if somebody is too far forward, you know, maybe you can start things off with another grasp, but really Gray and Whiskey Havoc should never be that close to the Malzahar where they would be at risk of that. I mean, maybe you could like flash Nether Grasp somebody, but we'll see how it goes. But I definitely think that is an advantage that the side of that pressure has with their.
Yeah, definitely have a lot safer long-range engages. You have the Sejuani prison, you have the Leona Solar Flare, you have light binding is from Lux. Even Aphelios, if he gets the gravity or the Infernum, can do a lot of damage and start out a fight, or to lock down multiple people with the root. So definitely that pressure has a lot more options and range with how they engage. Whereas Madison, Alistar goes in, or Malzahar gets a good nether grasp, or Jax flanks. That's really your only forms of engage, and they're very much, we go in and we have to follow up on it, because if we don't, someone will die. Whereas that pressure, if a Sejuani ulti misses, then you know, you wait for it to come off cooldown. If Leon ult misses, you wait for it to come off cooldown. You're not risking someone dying.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, game number 2 gonna be starting shortly here. Madison, Munster, they've drafted carry threats in all 3 lanes. They've got a lot more damage than they had in game number 2. See if that firepower is able to get them a win. Meanwhile, on the side of That Pressure 2.0, they've got a nasty team fighting composition for themselves. Time to see who's going to come out on top. Game number 2, right after this. We are back, everybody. Game number 2 between That Pressure 2.0 and Madison Esports Munster. We are looking at a couple of level 1s here, actually. Both teams are trying to find something here in the first couple of minutes of play, but they will not find each other. Ships in the night.
Yep. One side went ahead and invaded their top side, and the other's going into the spot. So neither team gonna find really anything. Just gonna get a couple wards down and reset. Some things to
We'll
note.
see. Go
That
ahead.
guy Jinx, bringing the Ignite on Graves. Very interesting. Very aggressive. So gonna be probably looking to try and punish Whiskey Lion as much as he can. But we'll see how well that goes. Gonna try and
Yeah,
sneak this red buff away. I think
yeah.
all 5 are still here. No one's recalled.
Oh, it is very interesting. Okay, so we're going for a trade on the red buffs. Maybe a little bit of vertical jungling breaking out here in our second game. We are going to get the ward down from that pressure, so they will know what's up. We will be able to suss this one out. The side of Madison, I'm not sure if they have the same information. Not clear if Jinx is expecting his opponent to start on that other red buff or not. Looks like it's going to be just a red into mid gank here for the Graves. Jinx going to look for something here. Losing Singularity comes down, but Whiskey Havoc taking a lot of damage here. Not
Ooh.
respecting that possibility, and the Lux takes quite the beating here at level 1. So does Goat, though. The Alistar is not really a champion at level 1, and Goat is already down to 50%.
Yeah, that guy Jinx goes straight in the mid lane, tries to get the double red, but well played on Whiskey, realizing that they...
There's level 2s. Leona going in with the Zenith, the Blade. Tider forced to back away here. You can see Gray are stepping up there. So much confidence already here on the Aphelios. Has that Severum at the level 1, able to just dish out the DPS with the assistance of his Leona there. And bot lane, I feel like already, once again, we're seeing a little bit of a repeat maybe of game number 1 here, K9.
Yeah, already starting to fall behind, but no kills dropping yet. Everyone still has their summoner spells
It's
up.
early still. It's just
early.
a feeling I have. That's all.
And looking to get some wards up in this, up towards mid lane. Not gonna find the gank onto Vish 184, so is gonna head back towards bot. Doesn't drop a ward in river, so nothing really comes out much from that roam. But Grade Zero, not really minding, just play safe away from any form of Alistar engages. So not really punished.
Yeah, that very spicy pathing from the Graves early on there didn't really amount to a whole lot. They are pretty much even, the two junglers. They are, neither one is really ahead of the other right now, and both have an approximately equal number of camps to clear, as that's a nice tilt over Peacemaker from Tider. There is a level 3 advantage now for the Alistar, so Goat actually must have allowed the Leona to roam around a little bit away from the lane for a little bit there. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah,
Maybe Leona is just about to tick over to 3.
Yeah. Leona did head up towards mid lane. Tried to find some gank on Melzar. Nothing really
You mentioned
occurs.
that, yeah.
Oh, I getting a little
Okay,
low.
he had the dodge zone, counter strike. Do himself safe there. Shen doesn't really have any counterplay for the counter strike, as Lux is in a lot of trouble here. Jinx with a great gank with the barrier and the flash over the wall, and that's a nice light binding. Whiskey Havoc is trying to escape here. The flash forward Vish just needs a little bit more damage. One more auto attack. He will be able to get the first blood for the Madison mid laner. Gonna be able to get the early advantage here in mid lane.
Oh, and he's gonna look for bot lane now too.
Oh,
Gank
Jinx
to
is coming
gank.
down here. Graves, yeah, he's going lane to lane. Not something the Graves is traditionally good at, but he's making it work here as the collateral damage. Just a little bit of an oopsie into the wall there. And he will decide against going for the gank without his Q. But still, I like that early aggression from that guy, Jinx. He's really doing more here in this early game.
Yeah, definitely on this Graves. Feels like he's a little bit more comfortable on this champion. Has the ignite, does burn it, and you know, because of that, is actually able to pick up the kill onto Whiskey Havoc. But Sejuani.
Okay, now yes, Sejuani. It's her turn to look for an angle in mid here. Light binding connects, and that's going to be a dead Vish. Gets traded back. Both mid laners now 1-1.
Yeah, a little bit far forward. Didn't have any sort of wards on the top or bot side. Didn't know where the Sejuani was, and the flash was down. So Whiskey, realizing that, decides to gank, and very good gank, punishes Vish, and Vish has
Sejuani gonna get found out here, but has the Arctic Assault, gonna get over the wall here, but Vish coming in with the collapse, has the teleport, got himself back into the mid lane. Whiskey line extremely low. Can Graves get over the wall? Yes, he does have the quick drawback off. Cools down, gonna be able to finish off the Sejuani with the auto attack. And it's 2-for-1 now. Madison in the lead.
Good first kill from Whiskey, but overextend, greeds for those raptors, doesn't respect that Fish does have the TP. TP's back, has the movement speed, and
Oh,
Goat
Goat with
looking.
a nasty roam here. Gonna find the headbutt pulverized onto Whiskey Havoc. Lux maybe gonna get locked up here once again with the Nether Grasp, and Jinx is able to pick up the kill with the Q. And Lux goes down for the second time this game. A nice roam from Goat.
Yeah, very, very good roam. Realizing that, that Whiskey Havoc doesn't have any sort of summoner spells, looks to punish it. Vish has the Nether Grasp and able to pick up another kill into the pocket of this guy Jinx, and he's already, 2-0-1 on this Graves. Very strong character. And they're going to look and to turn this into first dragon.
I'm loving these plays coming out from both teams. You see these control mages in mid lane. They're not very strong in the early game. It's a big gank target, especially when there are no summoners. So I think both teams, really props for finding those plays, making that happen. And now it's going to be Madison
Ooh, good
finding the only
flash.
dragon flash in. Yeah, forcing the flash out of the Aphelios there. And another nice play from Goat. That is definitely trading up, as now Whiskey Lion is diving in here.
Oh,
He's got
Lux
the
is
Leona
here
and the
too.
Lux collapsing from the river. He's got a 4v3 in favor of that pressure, but the Stanton United is coming down here as well. As 5 men in the bot lane right now. There's the Lux ultimate coming out. The final spark will help secure another kill, as the side of that pressure 2.0 pick up 2 kills in the bot lane. Whiskey Lion looking for more. Gonna land the W there. Caitlyn is slowed, but not gonna get hit by the Light Binding or the Zenith Blade. And Tyder will be able to walk it out there underneath the tier 2. 3 for 3 overall. Gold almost dead even here. 7.5 minutes in. That's the Counter-Strike. Gotta get the stun here. Mike in the dodge zone now. Both top laners used their auto attack denial already, and they're both just gonna back away here. Jack's using the ultimate there as well. Mike doesn't have that available for a little while. Could be pretty important here. He's jumping in. There.
Ooh, a little short.
Squizzy just shorts the taunt a little bit there. That could have been a lot of damage.
Yeah, one thing to note during that fight, Sky Wizzy does burn the ultimate, but I really like the proactive early game Channel. It's able to get bot lane and...
We're going to land the Counter-Strike here, and that guy Jinx is here. We got the flash out from Squizzy. He's trying to keep himself alive. Going to have the dodge zone underneath the tower, and is able to escape. Graves cannot, of course, damage him when he's behind the tower like that. So Squizzy will be able to keep himself alive, but he does cost him the flash.
Yeah, so... Oh, he might actually look for this. Does have the collateral damage.
Oh, yeah, he does, but he doesn't have a minion wave anymore, so he's going to eat a tower shot here. He's not able to get any damage. I like that, though, from Jinx. He's playing so aggressively. Maybe a little bit too aggressively, though. He's getting locked up in the Glacial Prison. He's trying to get a kill back, but he's not going to be able to do it. Kill going over to Whiskey Lion. Sejuani picks up number 1, and right as I was complimenting him, that's my bad, Jinx.
Caster Curse. Caster Curse. You compliment someone, and
yeah,
then
my fault.
Then they get Glacial Prison, and I really like this, turning it straight into Rift Herald. Good roam by Camellia Tears, and good play by Whiskey Lion. Sky Wizzy being able to stay alive as well. Good job on him. So, able to pick up the kill onto the guy Jinx, able to pick up a shutdown, and able to turn it into a Rift Herald.
Ike is opting into a 1v2 here. He just burned the flash and tried to get away. Oh, Whiskey Havoc able to flash and get the last auto attack and pick up the kill. And now Mike is going to be going down as well. A little bit of an overextension from the top laner, and just a little bit of an outplay in the mid lane there. As Goat gonna Hex flash in, look for the pulverize, can't quite find it though, headbutt into the wall, but it's not gonna matter. Gray 0 with the outplay, and he's gonna be able to find a 1v2 double kill for that pressure 80 carry. And now Whiskey Havoc is in trouble with the mid lane. That guy Jinx looking to land
down,
send that buckshot right into this light mage's face. Whiskey Havoc gonna take some collateral damage straight to the behind, and that's gonna be a kill going over to that guy Jinx on the Graves. 3 kills for the jungler here. It's really on his shoulders to carry, as look at that top lane tier 1. It's not long for this world, K9.
Yeah, already top lane tier 1.
Oh, no.
Ike's gonna try and keep it alive as long as he can, and I think he actually will.
Oh, wow.
No, I think Minion's actually gonna kill it.
Yeah, I mean, okay. Actually, there was a collapse coming in there from Alistar and Graves. So, well played by that pressure to back off. They did manage to get the tower regardless. And if they had committed for the play, it may have not gone in their favor. So, just going to extend the gold lead a little bit here. And going to go back to the jungle and keep farming up.
Yeah, but I mean, really well done by Grays down in the bot. 2v1ing the Alistar and the Caitlyn, very impressive. Did have the stacked up chakrams, so really dangerous when he has those stacked up like chakrams. You can see that you just kind of shred through the health bars of Alistar and of Caitlyn.
Yeah, I mean that original Hex Flash into the Mist Pulverize from Goat was just a little bit unfortunate. The idea was very good, but the execution just was not quite there. And Gray was able to turn it around there with the full 200 years gameplay experience.
Yeah, definitely. 200 years on this Aphelios. Just has so much in his kit, especially when you have the right guns. Can just do
Yeah,
so much, but
yeah,
looking
that
to go
crescendum
in.
ready to go. But Leona is here this time. It's an honorable 2v2, and Wild Goat, I don't think he was quite ready for that. He wanted the
TP's
unfair
coming down.
fight as the Solar Flare is going to lock him up, and Grey Zero going to lock him down with the Aphelios ultimate. The Fish now is here. Stand United is coming out, though. It's going to be a big fight down here in bot lane. Leona getting extremely low. She's in the dodge zone, but it doesn't matter because collateral damage is not an auto attack. Graves going to be able to pick up the kill. And now it's a 3v4 in the bot lane. 4v4 still, excuse me, as that is like Mike getting extremely low. Jax almost taken out, but he has the Counter-Strike back off cooldown. He's staying alive for now. And now Grey Zero down here in the bot lane. The Aphelios trying to get out these auto attacks. He's able to get down Vish, but the Malzahar with the Malefic Vision is able to trade back onto the AD carry. It's a 2-for-1 overall. The side of that pressure just barely able to come out on top.
Oh,
The ace in the hole of barrier saves Whiskey Havoc there. Good attempt from Tyler, but the Caitlyn is out of mana now, not really going to be able to do a whole lot more as the second dragon has been started up by that pressure. Whiskey Lion off on the flank, looking for an engage here. Going to get the charge straight into the Graves and the taunt, able to secure the kill, but Lux has also gone down. Wild Goat able to pick up that kill on the backside, but he will sacrifice himself for it most likely. Just need abilities.
oh!
No, he's gonna headbutt away. No.
Oh no!
Whiskey Lion able to clean him up in the end, and I think that they should be able to go back and pick up that dragon as well.
Yeah, they should be able to turn back onto this Chemtech dragon. AD carry is up. The guy Jinx is down for. Well, he's up now, but he's got a long run back to the dragon, and Whiskey Lion already on it. Gray's gonna hot over as well.
Vish is trying to have something to say about this, but he's getting hit by a Zenith Blade and a lot of other abilities as well, and he's just gonna kind of die, and so will the dragon.
Hey, we get Chemtech, or we get a Hextech.
It's the Hextech Soul. Okay, see if either one of these teams is able to effectively use those Hex Gates for some surprise positioning maneuvers.
Yeah, definitely have to see how these teams use it, but because the side of Madison did get that first dragon, it is gonna be a little bit of a delayed soul this game.
True.
So not gonna be able to see that
Wow.
that static shift proc too much this game, or even if at all. If it is a very quick game like last game, but with the gold lead only being 4K, you know, almost 3K, I don't know. It's a much closer game.
I mean, I feel like it was about here last game. It was very... I mean, it was close in the early game. The compositions are definitely more evenly matched. But look at this. You got the Glacial Prison just straight onto Fighter. And the Stand United coming through as well. You see Squizzy flying into the back line there. Flashed in just to secure that kill. And it's going to be Aphelios picking up the other one. A couple more kills going over to the side of that pressure. And you were saying there, K9, it's close, right? This game it's still close.
Yeah.
That's what you were saying.
Vish took the Hex Gate over to the wrong side, and
where are you going, Vish? Vish, where are you? Vish, what's the plan here?
The plan is to ult the S1E and then get ulted by the Lux.
I don't like that plan. I think that's not a very good plan.
I don't think it was a good plan as well, but this
okay,
plan might be a little bit better.
This plan, I think, has substantially more promise, but it is a Shen, and he's pretty hard to kill, and he's underneath the tower, but he is going to go down eventually, and Ike Mike will be able to walk it out. He's going to get himself out of there, I think. Please get yourself out of there. Yes, okay, he did.
Yep, so good dive onto the Shen, able to pick up that, able to get that shutdown. But it looks like that pressure starting to send pressure. up towards this second Rift Herald. Does have 4 more minutes before it despawns from the Baron, but they are gonna look for it. Ike, should recall here, is a little low. Doesn't give that over to Lux, sadly. Sejuani needs the mana more.
Yeah, that is a little unlucky. Sejuani needs that cooldown reduction, I guess, for, her very low cooldown E. I don't know. Rift Herald is alive, as you were just saying. It looks like it is going to be started up by the side of that pressure. So they're looking to continue their control over these neutrals. They did lose out on that one early dragon. But besides that, so far in tonight's games, they have maintained a pretty strict control over those. As Jinx, that guy Jinx, is just nowhere in the area. He's just farming his jungle. Just happy as graves.
Yep, looks
And
like
he's not going to be too
just going to
concerned.
give this up. But 1 level lead, that guy Jinx has a full level over Whiskey
Okay,
Lion.
Squizzy maybe in some trouble here. He's found himself in a 1v3 situation, but he is still has the taunt. He's getting locked up by the Nether Grasp, and it's just too much damage. He just cannot get away from that one. It is going to be Jinx picking up the last hit, but Ike will get traded back on that top side, so it's a 1-for-1 across the map as both top laners go down there. Aphelios ultimate connects with the ultimate there, but not enough damage. What's the name of Aphelios ultimate again?
What is it?
Totally blanking right now.
A Moonlight Vigil.
Oh, thank you. Yes, as he is getting headbutt pulverized by Goat here. Does take a tower shot as well. Guy Jinx trying to dive in there and damage the Aphelios, but Whiskey Lion and Camellia doing a great job of frontlining here. The TP did come out from the Malzahar, but the fight was already over. The side of that pressure had successfully disengaged.
Oh, Tears. In the middle of 4.
Oh, yeah, that is looking pretty spicy here. Goat isn't looking very, very dead. He's flashing away. He's trying to keep himself alive, and actually, Yellow Star is out of there, but Jinx is not going to be so lucky. He gets picked up by a Whiskey Lion, and now over the wall, Vish gets flashed on. He's trying to flash himself now, trying to keep himself alive, but it's not going to work. He gets stunned up, and he gets taken out. It's a double kill, I believe, for Whiskey Lion on the Sejuani. Whiskey Lion and Gray, once again, the difference makers here for that pressure. They are once again in a position to carry their team to victory.
Yeah, I thought Camellia Tears was almost certainly dead there in the middle of 4 people, but Aftershock and the W able to keep her alive just long enough so that the Shen can come in, that Whiskey Lion can get into position, and that Gray Zero can get into position. So staying alive, able to get a little bit of CC, and able to flash out, and able to convert it into 2 kills.
Yeah, I mean, Goat was able to stay alive in that fight as well, but the team fighting from the side of that pressure was just a little bit better. It allowed them to come out on top there, as Squizzy is going to run face first into 2 people here. He's going to be able to taunt himself over the wall, and Jinx is going to follow him. And Jinx, I don't know if that was really well advised there. My man, he is going to get hit by the final spark, and that is going to be his final thought as he lands in the dirt. And Ike Mike going in now with Counter-Strike, already used a Leap Strike as well, and he is just going to be feeding himself to the wolves as well. It's going to be Goat now next in line for the meat grinder. Aphelios is completely online, and now only Caitlyn remains. Tider retreating back towards the tier 2, as the 3rd dragon of the game will be forfeit for the side of that pressure. And it seems like Madison and Munster are just falling apart a little bit here.
Yeah, they just can't get through this front line. Sky Wizzy, Whiskey Lion, and Camellia Tears. Whiskey Lion does fall, but the other health bars on Camellia Tears and Sky are just so high, they just don't have the ability to shred through them yet. They have so much armor, so much health. This Sejuani already has Chemtech and Warmog, so 2 items deep on this tank, and there's no form of percent health damage or any form of
Pulverized. Goat's gonna look for the stun here, but Goat is all by himself. And Alistar by himself is not killing much of anything, not even a melee minion, as he does die, and now Ike Mike is forced to leap back towards his inhibitor. And Guy Jinx is on the wrong side of the rift. He's gonna be able to use that blast cone and is gonna be able to get himself back out to safety, but it was a bit close.
Yeah, Sky Wizzy flashing for that, not able to actually find that Guy Jinx. Is able to use the blast cone to get him to safety, but the bot lane for Madison does fall. Surprised they didn't turn that into a Baron. They do have a pretty quick Baron with the Aphelios and the Sejuani. Baron is up about 10k gold now with 2 dragons, 2 away from Soul still, because Madison did pick up the early Infernal. But I want to see them start putting pressure towards this Baron, start clearing vision in the top side, choking them out. of any sort of comeback. And once you get this Baron, I think you can really break open this game. Gray's incredibly far ahead again on this Aphelios, like he was last game on the Kaisa. Already almost 3 items in, while Caitlyn's still just sitting on the Gale Force.
Yeah, Gray is he's pretty much online. The Aphelios is very, very powerful at this point in the game, and I completely agree with what you were saying about pressuring the Baron there. I think that the side of that pressure is definitely in a position where they can look to try and secure that objective, as Mike is trying to flash away, but he's flashing right into the loving embrace of a Leona, who will assist her jungler in picking up yet another kill. And that is a taunt forward, but Skywizzy is still not going to be able to catch the Malzahar. Vish will be able to walk away there. But Baron, I think it looks like it may be the target here, K9.
Yeah, it looks like they're starting to head over. This is warded. They didn't actually scan out that ward, so they have vision. Pink does come down.
Yeah, so the side of Madison is in the area. They know that this is going on, but it's already down to about 2/3 HP.
Good
Jinx
binding.
is behind the pit. He does have smite. He's just, that is Whiskey Havoc with a snipe. Able to pick up the enemy AD carry before the fight could even break out. And now Alistar going in with the headbutt pulverize. He's popping the ultimate as well, but the counter engage is too strong. And that's the entirety of Madison just exploding to the power of the Aphelios. Gray says, no, thank you. We will not be playing 3 games tonight, as they ace Madison. And they look to close it out in 2-0 fashion.
Yeah, so Ace 10k are going to turn onto this Baron. No shot at ever stopping this. Tide spawn is up, but, you know, 1 Caitlyn versus 5 members can't really do much. The only way she can really steal it is if she gets the Q, but, I mean, it's already bursted down. It's already dead. Everyone's going to reset here, spend the gold they just got, 12k up, and 3 minutes to work on this Baron. It feels, again, like last game, almost insurmountable. Huge shutdowns, all on the side of that pressure, but, you know, they're on the tanks and on this Aphelios. It feels almost impossible to ever get that gold just because of the stats that they have. Aphelios has the shield bow for the HP and has the shielding and just the front line to sit with him. While Sejuani has her passive, she has Warmog, she has the Chemtech. Shen sitting 2 items with the Hydra and the Sunfire. There's just so much health and shielding that they have to get through that it almost feels like they can never really get any of these gold.
Yeah, it definitely is how. Oh, that is a nice Sejuani ultimate. Nails the Glacial Prison from downtown there. Jinx. Oh, Jinx.
I don't know if you wanted to hit it that way.
Jinx. Some nerves there, maybe. I'm not really too sure. The final spark does come out, and that will obliterate the top laner. As Malzahar looking for a kill on the back side here. Malzahar almost able to get one back. Vish looking for it, is able to find one, but it's not going to matter in the end, as Skizzy is already taking the inhibitor. And, oh, actually, Gray almost died there. I didn't realize how close he was going down. Oh, the mid! He walked into mid lane.
Vish is able to pick up 2 shutdowns, one in the Whiskey, one in the Grace, but I don't think it matters.
Type easy in all chat. Do it. Now you already got a tie, Vish.
Hit him with the mid diff.
Hit him with the mid diff. Oh, he's not going to do it. His Nexus turrets are dying. He's probably not in the mood. As Jinx has respawned, and they're all going to take the Hextech portal out of there.
Yeah, so they all get out. Dragon is available, but 14 seconds on Graze. I don't know if they'll be able to do it, but I don't think Madison can really leave their base very easily, considering there's already an inhibitor down and one of the turrets is almost done as well.
Auto attack. That was such a massive shutdown. Are you kidding me? We watched him stand in the jungle next to wolves. I think we actually watched him think about it. Like, am I gonna recall here?
It's like, do I recall?
Nah.
Do I
Walks
go for
into
the
mid lane.
I think he just needed. If he,
Oh, Sejuani's in the pit, looking for the steal, not gonna find it. Graves secures this dragon, and now the fight is going very much in favor of that pressure. They're able to pick up 2, they're able to pick up 3 as soon as Jax goes down here, and now Vicious stunned up as well. He's thrown out another grasp. It's not gonna matter. Whiskey Lion looking for number 5, looking for ace number 2, Tighter, trying to run underneath the tier 2 tower, but he's getting cut off. Oh, the flash taunt, Squizzy, able to nail the coffin shut, and it's gonna be game 2. For that pressure 2.0. They're on their way to the grand final.
Yep, walking down mid. Gonna go ahead and turn on to these Nexus. One of them's already down thanks to minions. On to number 2, and they're gonna turn on to this Nexus with a quick and easy 2-0 win for that pressure over Madison Esports.
Really putting the pressure on their opponents in that next match, am I right?
Definitely. But with this...
Okay, that was a little bit insulting to add to the injury at the end there.
But
just a casual double kill for Lux on the fountain.
Yep. You know, when you're that far ahead, pad the stats.
Hey, fair enough. Yeah. When you can get a double kill on the fountain, you get a double kill on the fountain.
Yep.
Not a question.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, you don't want to save your abilities for next game. Might as well just use them now.
Exactly.
But with that pressure 2.0 is going to go ahead and lock themselves into finals. Next week, Madison is going to go down to the loser's bracket, is going to have to play the winner of another game to see if
that's right.
They are able to make it back to finals for revenge. But we'll see. Astral Dragons and Space Cows are going to be playing. We're going to see who wins that, and whoever wins that will be playing that Madison Esports Cheese Monsters for the final spot in our finals for the U1400 League.
That's right, K9. It's important to remember here, the playoffs here in the Style Esports League are double elimination. And that was the first loss for the side of Madison Munster. This was the winner's bracket semifinal. So this was their first loss of a match here in the playoffs. So they will have another chance, like you were just saying there, to battle back, to try and win out in the loser's bracket and get that rematch versus 2.0 here. That they obviously would like to have. But we will just have to wait and see. As you were just saying there, K9, it's going to be the winner of Astral Dragons versus Space Cows is going to be who Madison Esports Munster is going to be going up against here. That game is going to be played by December 13th, it looks like. And I believe the Astral Dragons versus Space Cows match was actually being played concurrently tonight, so we should know the winner of that one relatively soon. I'll see if I can get that information for us now, actually. But K9, I wanna kind of get your thoughts here before we wrap things up. Who do you think was the player of the series tonight for that pressure?
Definitely gonna have to give it to Grays. Played very well. I think his total score line was 25-2. Both deaths coming from game 2. The one with the minions, which was unfortunate, to say the least. But, I mean, just played phenomenally. Nearly unkillable the entire series. Did so much damage both games, so much pressure that he could put out. And there was really no response that Madison Esports Cheese Monsters can really do to stop him. They didn't have any way to dive onto him. There was really good peel. And his positioning was very, very good.
Yeah, I think I gotta agree with you, man. I think we should also give a very, very honorable mention to Camellia Tears there on the Nautilus and on the Leona. He was exquisite in both games. Just did a fantastic job of setting up his AD carry for success. And yeah, just kind of a bot lane diff overall is kind of my takeaway.
Yeah, I agree. It really felt like Gray and Camille were just on another league compared to Tighter 22 and a Wild Goat. Really felt like they controlled bot lane every game, and even in the 1v2 Grays, we saw him 1v2 the enemy bot lane. You know, it was a little bit of a misplay from Wild, missing the pulverize, but still, being able to be that confident to 1v2 is very impressive, especially against an Alistar Caitlyn, where one misstep and you could be getting headshot and dying very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that is pretty much all we had planned here tonight. Isn't that right there, K9?
Yes, I believe that is it for tonight.
Well, we are going to have some more games next week. Of course, as I mentioned just a short while ago, that losers bracket final is going to be played sometime next week. So just stay tuned, guys. I wasn't able to see, I think, the losers bracket semifinal may still be going on down there. So just stay tuned for the results on that one. And we're going to be seeing you guys quite soon for some more style esports playoff action. But for tonight, this is myself, Crewman, and from K9 here as well. We wish you guys a great night. This is going to be us signing off for now. Take care.